Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. It's a little cold here, but it's slowly picking back up. But yeah, so far it's not been a bad Sunday at all. Put on some music. Hopefully this isn't too loud or too quiet. Doing all right. I started working on this map fairly late the other stream, and I was like, you know what, I got a free day off. I think I'm gonna work on this some more. Ooh, hell yeah. What's the condition of it? Ooh, good shit. Hell yeah. Oh, that really matters. Hell yeah. Ooh, Minecraft on 360 is so good. It's unbelievably good. It's definitely one of my favorite versions to play. Also, what I'm currently doing in this, for those who may have missed it, is I'm currently remastering and touching up some old levels from BMW. Uh, oh yeah, I actually have a lot. I'll go over it as we go on. I'll give a quick summary on what I'm currently doing. Um, so this is a classic map, Courtyard by BMW. It's one of my favorite custom levels in GoldenEye, but there's a big problem. It was always full bright, so there's no shading or anything like that. So this really cool map got hammered down by just not having any sort of detail to it. Um, that and on top of some like questionable graphic choices or texture choices. So I've reached out to Rec to see if I could do a little bit of a texture remaster with it. Um, but we got a good amount through. I was testing how a lot of the shading would work on this specific map. Because there's a lot of textures that fight with the active vertex shading. These bricks especially, you can kind of see where they fight. So I need to find proper coloring for them to actually look good. But for me, yeah, got a lot of stuff going on. So I just got my raise at work. Um, Not only that, I ended up getting 2 new pets, and I also started working on my garden, which I've been very happy with. I did not expect to get 2 new pets, but here we are. I was expecting that day just to be getting guinea pigs. I was expecting to go get just some stuff for my garden on my balcony, and I ended up coming home with two baby guinea pigs. But they're wonderful. I've got a little bit of an idea on what I want to do with this. Ah, nah. Let's see. Let me bring this down to be a little bit more red. Kind of looks a decent starting color to an extent. And then I can always go lower as well. sure how I fully feel about that. It gives a little bit more of a hint, or like a tint to it. You can make it easier to shade with. The big problem with shading this map, though, is the fact that, one, these bricks are very hard to work with, and two, these tries are very finicky. Hey, welcome in, Merc. Hope you're doing well today, this Monday for you. I'm sure you're at work at the moment. I think having the red may be a good choice to go with. It adds just a little bit more color. Ooh, just taking 5. Good to see ya. Man, I don't know what I fully want to do with... I think the red is the way to go. I'm just going to hit it with the full bright at first. Yeah, same. Like, if I didn't do any shading, I think these bricks work out really well. But since there needs to be some sort of shading to go alongside it, just immediately hitting it with a darker color kind of hurts it a bit. Like, you can kind of see it just doesn't look right. It almost looks like it's dented instead of like shaded. So I think if I was to hit all of this with like a full bright and then I work from there, and then I retroactively fit the yellow tinting to it, will work out. Because they work, how the shading works is almost like painting. So you want to have a good first solid layer. So that's kind of an idea. Originally the direction was going to be this way. So it shines in. I have some stuff here where the sun doesn't shine. It kind of has like a little bit of a moldy algae kind of look to it. You can see it in like here as well. But there's some problems at hand. Let me see if I can make a custom color for this real quick. There we go. So one of the big problems is stuff like these walls. That's fine. That's fine. But then you get into this. For some reason, there is a bunch of just random like spiky tries, especially like in this water. This water's really bad to try to work with. There's also hidden little chair legs for the water that kind of poke down under. It was probably a limitation of Hammer at the time, but it's definitely a little rough. Thankfully, Rec has kind of gone in and edited these maps up some. So originally the ceiling here was connected to the texture underneath. So if you shaded the ceiling, you shaded the roof as well. Should you or should you not what? No. Ooh, that already kind of looks decent. So I think... I think if I give it all like a more harsh red to begin with, I can definitely work backwards on this. So I gotta make sure I don't accidentally hit any stray walls doing this, or that's gonna be a little annoying going back through. What you trying to do? Oh yeah. So for this as well, I've already gone in and I've shaded a good chunk of it. My first idea was to have it a lot darker. Not extremely, extremely dark, but darker enough to, like, benefit having, like, the windows. So, like, these areas would be darker than these because the light can go through. But we've decided just to keep it fairly light. But then still have, like, some corners that are darker. And then I've got this one fun, very dark room. Because there's no lights that hit it whatsoever. It's the only one that is connected to essentially just the least amount of doors. But yeah, at the moment, the light goes this way. So over here will be the darker segment. What I've done instead is I've made the ceilings light or darker, because you're not going to be primarily looking at the ceiling, so that kind of gives a little bit of a leeway to make it darker without making the actual playing area darker. But yeah, this has been a very fun map to work on so far. I am going to be resetting a lot of progress on these. Did I hit that? Oh, on these walls, unfortunately, but honestly, I wasn't really happy with where they were going. Yeah, exactly. I'm so happy that Rec also edited this as well, so I could. Because originally I was having to fight with having the roof shaded and the ceiling shaded at the same time. There's going to be some other maps I get to work on as well, which I'm most excited for. One map that's going to absolutely pop with coloring. Hey, good to see you, Grim. Hope you're doing well. Oh, that's fair. When it comes to asking people out, I'd honestly say if you feel like it is something that they would be interested in, I'd say go for it. As long as you never, like... Yeah, exactly. Never make it bigger than what it could be. Because, like, let's say it does work out and it ends up being great, but it could be, like, if it doesn't work out, you could find somebody else later down the line. And I'd say just never try to pressure it either. Like, never keep up on, like, a pressure. I think this red is like the perfect way to go. It already complements the red of the bricks, and it just looks good. Exactly, Merc. Hit that right on the nail of the head. Hit that with the rest of the red, and get some over here. Oh, for sure. And sometimes when you have stuff that is forced as well, it ends up not working in a way that you'd want, or like just the relationship just ends up not working out. Just kind of let it naturally like build up and grow. Leave. Nah, I'm just gonna fill these in now. That already kind of makes the bricks pop out more now. Damn. So then my idea for this, the problem is as well, is you get shading like this, which definitely can be annoying. So I'll have to figure out ways to work around that. Thankfully, the lighting goes this way. So I can just have this whole thing shaded downwards. This. Oh yeah, that's fair. What I can do now is I can start going into a tint. And start working on tinting this stuff outwards. It's always worth reaching out and stuff. Especially for something big like that. Yeah, 100%. Sometimes you'll have one of the greatest relationships you could ever ask for, but it just doesn't work out. And that's completely fine. It just, you can have like relationships that you thought were going to be like absolutely amazing turn out not to be. You have relationships that you don't fully know where it's going, and it could end up being something that you have for a long time. Just, they can go in so many different directions. Sometimes they could be people that you consider really good friends, and it just ends up not working out, but you still can remain like good friends and stuff. I've had few relationships in the past that didn't work out, and we ended up still staying good friends. Um, just all kinds of different, there's all kinds of different scenarios and situations and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I need a better coloring for this. I do an orange. My main mistake was 16 forward, the other lasted 10 years. River's getting rocky. I left up to my third, and river smooth. It might turn into an ocean. Hell yeah. Yeah, Merc's always wonderful with giving advice. For me, I have had 4. I've had 4 relationships. First one didn't end up well at all. It was very forced. And it just did not work out in the slightest. Which is fine. You're going to have things that just don't work out, and that's completely fine. Second one, we ended up it ended up not working out for us too much, and we just kind of went our separate ways. There was never any sort of like nastiness in it. It just turned out we weren't meant for each other, and that was completely fine. And then the third one ended up being really good friends, but it just didn't work out relationship-wise. We were looking for 2 kind of different things. But she is an amazing person, and I'm glad that I at least got to, like, be friends with her and stuff like that. And then my fourth is who I'm married to. And yeah, it's always important to be able to say no. Because if you kind of bottle it up, it'll kind of start getting to you, and you'll start resenting the people that you may be around or with. And sometimes saying no is not going to turn out to the results you're thinking it is. You could be like, it's like, oh man, it's probably going to end up really bad if I say no to this, when the person may be like, oh, okay, glad you told me. For my fourth one, my current one, we just took it very slow. And just had fun. It was really nice. Like, they aren't somebody I'd previously known, and we actually kind of like found each other on a whim. And I was just like, oh shit, we have a lot of similar interests and stuff like that, and we just started hanging out and like getting to know each other better. We started like going on little adventures. We met each other's friend groups, stuff like that, and it led to where we are now. So I'm gonna skip this song. If you're already friends and they say no, don't make it awkward. Yeah, 100%. Just offer to get shakes or whatever and hang out. Like I said, don't make it bigger than what it is. Yeah, and don't... I would probably recommend as well... I can't remember fully what the recommendation is. If it's... I think it's doing it like offering to go out... like to seal the deal or whatever at the end of a meetup as well. Because if you do it early on, then it's going to kind of be awkward throughout. But yeah, never make it feel awkward. And don't make it feel like the entire friendship is reliant on possibly dating somebody. Because that surprisingly happens a lot. Ooh, that's looking pretty good so far. The light doesn't hit it, so it can be nice and darker. Yeah, that's fair. I've had a relationship, the one that didn't go well, despite, like, it not going well and stuff, me and their family was still chats to this day. So entirely depends, too. Maybe I should make this a little darker red. And sometimes as well, there may be things that other people um pick up on. They're like kind of similar to that. It's like, oh, when are they going to start dating? There's going to be some times where you probably have situations that you had never even thought of going in for dates and stuff. Um, there was me and a good friend in high school. We never dated, but it was kind of funny looking back because we were like, why didn't we? Because we got along perfectly. And we were always hanging out, but it never really crossed our mind. But personally, I'm glad we didn't, because I wasn't in the right space for dating at the time. And I feel like if I probably would have ruined like a good friendship. Especially like you're in high school and stuff. Like there's so many relationships that just don't work out, and that's completely fine. It's a learning curve. Especially for people who barely know themselves, getting to learn somebody entirely different. Okay, this coloring doesn't look too good. Maybe if I hit it with a dark red? So let me go over here. Nah, that's too dark. Or that's too red. You hit it with like a brown? The brown kind of works. More in combo. And our other kids always telling me details about her. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised then. Yeah, that's a good start. I gotta disconnect this UV layer though. That UV layer is not good. I hit that and this. And then I open up UV editor. And then default this out. Hit disconnect points. Now, when I shade this in, there we go. Problem solved. There we go. But yeah, if they regularly chat with you and stuff too, as Merc said, they probably do like you. I think this piece is actually connected. Oh, no, it's not. Perfect. And my final thing, if they pause and don't answer straight away, and like think about it for a while. Yeah, exactly. Some of the biggest answers you ever give in life need time. It's not just a simple on the spot yes or no. Unless they've already thought about it for a while. But being thrown something as quick as that definitely would take a while. Even if they were already thinking about it, they probably would still need time. And that goes for everything. Goes for jobs, goes for relationships, getting new pets. Like for us, we already had our answer. We already knew we wanted to go out. But we still went home and thought about it and just like double made sure that this is what we really wanted and it wasn't just something what's it called? It wasn't something we wanted in the moment and then would regret. Yeah, you know that's fair. Um Yeah, shit, you know, we didn't really expect to get those guinea pigs. We had already anticipated at one point of getting a guinea pig, but we were looking for one that was specifically docile. Like, we wanted a guinea pig that just wasn't like extremely attention driven and didn't need to be paired up. Because my spouse is very new to guinea pigs. This is my 9th guinea pig I've ever had. So I wanted to get something like a guinea pig that would work out well. And we were at the pet store, and she was just sitting there, like, super chill. She was around other guinea pigs and didn't really follow them around or anything like that. And it was just like, it's like, oh shit. Like, I think we finally found the one. So we got her, and then we got a little buddy for her as well. It's so funny because the one that we originally first picked is extremely docile, like isn't afraid of anything. You can pick her up, no fear whatsoever, just exists. And the second one we got is like anxiety incarnate. Also, good to see you, Raph. Hope you're doing well today. Currently working on some more of this map, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. This segment clearly didn't. Fix that up. There we go. Oh yeah, like it's so much more alive. I ended up going with a more red tint for the bricks. I think it's personally one of the only colors that could actually work for it. Funny enough, considering the bricks are obviously red. But, just having the white and the green attached to the texture is a little rough. Because you can't really mix many other colors with it. But yeah, so far, I've gotten interiors done. Gotten this interior done. Shade in here. And then I'm going to come back through and give some extra coloring to these as well. These are kind of just getting these rooms, like, at least in a passable state. This one's not done. Neither is this one. Stairway's done. But yeah, it's wild how amazing Verti shading is. Like, it's just genuinely impressive. Oops, wrong thing. But yeah, I'd say if you're looking for the yes or no question, I'd say yes for that. But yeah, so yesterday, oh right, you saw the VOD. Yeah, like the bricks are there's so much more life in them. I think I may give a yellow tint. Oh, for sure. I think I should give the top of this roof that yellow coloring in. Let me tint it. This way it's got a little bit of a brightness to it. And this segment doesn't really need to have brightness since the sun would be coming in this way. So now I can align this to be darker. And I can also make these darker over on this side. Ooh, got Adzu's theme going on. Such as the slick one. We need more surface maps made. There's not many snow themed maps for GoldenEye or Perfect Dark. I feel like this is a little too dark. I'll lighten it up just a little bit. Ooh, hell yeah. Yeah, that's looking a bit better. I hope you're doing well today, Raph. It's always good hearing from you. I haven't gotten that thing downloaded yet that you had sent. Or not extracted, I mean. I have not got it extracted yet, but I've got it downloaded. I knew if I didn't tackle doing this immediately, I'd put it off a bit. So I'm like, let me get this thing out of the way. No sleep. I ended up getting a lot of sleep in the last, like, 2 days. Oh, that's too dark. Let me fix that. Oh yeah, some also cool stuff that has changed up in my life a bit is I got a HDMI splitter now, so I can actually play like console games without having any sort of issue with the HDCP, which is something that prevents PS3 and PS4 streaming, which is really obnoxious. Um, and then I've got a camera mount now, so I can actually freely move it wherever I want. How long have you been up? For me, I'm usually up a lot when I work, because I'll come home from work and then I'll do either modding or streaming or hanging out in calls and stuff. Um, and then like I'll end up being like completely zonked out on my day off. I'll like catch up on the sleep. Fair. Yeah, I ended up sleeping through like all last night, as one should. Um, I slept through all last night and then I woke up, I poured coffee and then I went right back to bed. And I didn't wake up until like 3 p.m. maybe? Like I was off and on waking up, but I was just kind of just exhausted. Probably touch up this. I could probably do the bottoms. Ooh. Sometimes I do that shit. I'll have where it's like I just don't sleep at all, and then it would be like an entire 24 hours. I'm zonked. I'm gone. Yeah, it's probably one of the easiest things I think, as long as the tries are properly set up. Um, it's fairly like simplistic, which is really nice. Sometimes you can get some really annoying shit, but then you can at least go into the editor and kind of fix it yourself. Like Something really annoying is if I was to go and let's say I want to edit this, just the way it's designed, it's an absolute pain to properly shade. No, I'm on the perfect gold editor. But yeah, it can definitely be a pain. But thankfully, the one upside to the perfect gold editor is the fact that shading and vertice work is so much like easier. Yeah, I've heard Blender's kind of a nightmare with that. I was trying to learn how to use Blender the other day, so I can finish up some of my maps that I have in progress. I've got a little bit more done on them. Um, but I ended up just kind of clicking more with SketchUp as we were trying to figure out something to work on. We're trying to learn how to do something properly. And in the meantime of finding like the proper tutorial and getting it to work, I'd already completed a whole level through SketchUp. But yeah, Blender seems to be the way a lot of people are going. I think it's definitely overall a really good app, especially with that editor and stuff you're making. Um, like, Ares, Eternally Ares, he's done, like, the Grand Library map and stuff that you see in GoldenEye and Perfect Darks all in one. He uses Blender now for all of his stuff. I feel like this corner may be a little bit too dark, but I want to see how dark I can get it before it's, like, uncomfortable. Yeah, I've really liked SketchUp. SketchUp is so much easier for the modeling. That's what Zika uses. Zika has some, like, really awesome, levels and stuff he's made through SketchUp. Plus, applying textures is really nice on SketchUp as well. Darken this up a bit. I should probably be able to darken this up with no issue. And then if I want as well, I can just kind of go into here and call it out. So now I can work directly on this specific texture, which is kind of funny that it's like this. I'm actually impressed it didn't go all the way in. That's kind of funny. I didn't expect that. Thankfully, one thing, if you're ever doing stuff with vertice shading in the editor, is if you have, like, if you're using this, if you call out an object, so like I've called out that stairway, I can work on this freely with no fear of accidentally hitting the stairway. However, if you hit shade connected vertices, it will still go through the hidden, like, called out object you got rid of, which could definitely be annoying. So fuck it, I'm gonna shade this in full like that, and then I'm going to hit H, bring this back, and I'm just gonna reverse it. Yeah, it's something I found out the hard way early on, modding in GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. Oh, that's actually kind of looking pretty decent. What's a good example I can do? You know what? Let me do these stairs again. I'm going to hit tint off. I'm going to turn this blue. And then I'm going to call out this whole stairway. Now it wants to be picky. There we go. So I'm going to call this out. And I'm going to apply shade connected vertices. If this is connected in any way possible, if I hit that, turn tint off so I don't do that again. And then, see? It'll do it whether it's hidden or not. Hey, good to see you, 6490. Hope you're doing well today. But yeah, that's a very important thing I had to learn early on. Because it's a menace. It's a menace if you leave it checked. Sometimes it can be useful, but most times, if you're trying to just shade a general whole section, it's good. But if you want to specifically be shading certain parts that are like connected to other assets, like these stairways, you're gonna want to have it off. Good to hear. Hopefully it's a little warmer your way than it is here right now. It's kind of cold out. I currently am like snugged up with a little blanket. It went from being around like what 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit to 20 to 40. Like, oh my god, what happened? Yeah, it's cold. It's not fun walking to work, I'll tell you what. Let's see. So we got the sun coming in this direction. So this is going to be a more moldy. I think I'm going to change this as well. I'm not quite happy with how colored in it is. Man, a 60 sounds nice. That's like the perfect weather for me, as long as it's not like too windy. This could be a little lighter. This won't be seen. I can shade in this segment. Damn, 85 right now. Oh my god. Yeah, the winds have been nasty as well. Like when I was walking to work, I was like, holy shit, man. This ain't the same. This ain't the same like wind I was walking in yesterday. Also, check this out. This segment's painful. What I gotta do is I gotta go disable the UV edit, or the UVs connected to it. See how these two are edited at the same time? So what I gotta do is I gotta hit that, and then I go open up UV editor, select all, and then disconnect points. What this will do now is instead of it essentially doing it for both of these. It's only going to do it for one now. Yeah, here, it can get up to 110 Fahrenheit as well. That's usually like the hottest it'll kind of get. It may sometimes get a little worse, but that's kind of where we'll sit at. Let's see. Yeah, so this is one of BMW's old maps. This is Courtyard. It's personally one of my favorite looking maps. One of my personal favorite custom maps for GoldenEye. But it's like there's no shading in it. So I reached out to Rec and stuff. I was like, man, um I'd love to put some like shading and like detail, almost like remastering these levels a bit so they can get the shading and like the up to date um like abilities for Verti shading like it deserves. So I've been working on some of these. But yeah, here where I live, it's the coldest it can get is around like I'd probably say like -10 Fahrenheit, and the hottest it can get is like up to 110, 115 maybe. We've been getting a lot more hotter weather though. However, this last year we're actually surprised by getting multiple blizzards, which we rarely see here. The top of my state you see it, but down here, you don't really see it too much. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to having sinus issues again. My sinus issues kind of flare up when it's colder out. So, like, the colder the weather, the worse I get. So, with it going from 20 Fahrenheit to 80 Fahrenheit, back to 10 Fahrenheit to 60 to 30, shit like that, it keeps messing me up. Like, it's like, oh my god, like, please stop. Oh yeah, I remember that, because that's when they, like, lost power as well. That had to have been brutal. If I recall, there was a time, speaking of like extreme weather in England, I think it's England. It's either like somewhere around there. They don't really get like too extreme weather. So when they got hit with like like a lot hotter weather, I believe their streets and their like car tires were melting. It's definitely wild. Yeah, that was a few years ago, I believe. That'd be absolutely terrifying. Just going out one day and just seeing your car just melted. Like, holy shit. Now that I've darkened this up some, I could probably actually come back and retroactively make this a bit darker too. I could hit this with some shading here. There we go. Yeah, so grass texture is changed up. So it went from that kind of like moldy looking lettuce to some actual decent grass. What I'm gonna end up doing as well is I'm gonna go into the UVs and I'm going to make it a little more um like random for the grass, so it's not just this same repeating square over and over. Yeah, pretty much, Merc. It wasn't the fact that it wasn't extremely hot. It was the fact that it was just they've never really designed to be like that. It's kind of like in Florida, uh they don't ever anticipate snow, so they don't have any sort of um shovels or proper snow gear. So when they got hit with a blizzard, they were essentially like shit out of luck. Yeah, they didn't have any salt. So what could I do here? Maybe make this just a little bit darker. So like regarding this, because it's all one texture, I can just grasp it like that. So if I was to come in, ooh, that's some funky design going on right there. Holy shit. This, for anyone who doesn't know, is essentially how the texture is formulated here. So flip this kind of like sideways, and that is essentially the entire area on how the textures are placed. This place I work, we have enough salt to make 7,000 gallons of ice cream. Jesus Christ, yeah, I believe it. We had a whole freight trailer that was nothing but ice or salt. Um, for the walkways and shit. And then it turned out the blizzard that we got anywhere couldn't even utilize the salt because it was too much snow. It rained beforehand, which nullified all salt, and then the snow came in. Yeah, UVs definitely can be a nightmare to say the least. How these UVs are essentially laid out is they're extremely straight. There's no like unique angles to them at all. It's also a pain because it highlights this, so it's harder to kind of see in real time it changing. So like let's say what's something I can actually see? Yeah, so you can see it very briefly down there. So if I was to, let's say, make it a little bit more in this angle, you can see it. But then you've got a little bit of a problem with it just kind of looking funky and stuff like that. So what you'll do is you'll kind of select multiple. It's also very annoying to move the camera and stuff around in this. Now that I've selected that, let's say I just move it like this, and you can see it edit in real time. So if I wanted to, I could just do something like that. Obviously, this is not how I'm going to leave it, but doing something like this already gave it a little bit more of a personality than it just being flat. It gives you a little bit more unique detail to look at. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to import this in. And I'm gonna save this before I accidentally don't. There we go. Always important to save these projects, because holy shit, I have I have seen and worked on enough projects crash mid project and losing everything. Yeah, I fully believe you with the Blender thing. It's so much easier to edit these UVs in Blender. Blender sounds familiar. So this little piece here is kind of annoying. I may connect this UV piece because I'm sick of having to very lightly touch it. It's that, and then it's that. These are very, very obnoxious tries. I'm also debating on changing this texture as well. Just to have something a little different. That isn't fruitcake texture. But I'll see how I feel about that in a bit. Yeah, same. Also, this is Control's music. Unfortunately, I gotta swap that out. That song is copyrighted. Very obnoxious that people can just copyright video game music, but it is copyrighted. Yeah, Control's theme is copyrighted. It's very annoying. So far, all that's connected to each other. That's looking fine. What about this? But yeah, so many content creators have been getting hit with that Control music getting copyrighted. Something also really stupid is when I had my Perfect Dark stream that was like I had stuttering from my internet going out. The stuttering in the pause music was enough to get flagged for a copyright. And I shit you not, the edit of the song was just somebody remixed the song to have pauses in between the song. So the song would play for like 5 seconds and then it would be like a straight like 2-second pause. That ended up getting copyrighted. But yeah, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. Kind of want to... Part of me kind of wants to leave this stairway unshaded to kind of give a good grasp of how much work has gone between shading and not shading. But at the same time, I'm like, I want this thing shaded in. It's such a terrible system. I think YouTube especially. YouTube will not push out people's streams. But what it will do is it'll find like brain rot streams and it'll push them out so hard. There's so many times I'll be scrolling through my YouTube and I don't even like search up anything that's even remotely brain rot stuff, and it'll just be like 2,000 followers watching a guy like have a cry filter over his face. And he's like, oh, don't send me $50. I'll cry. I'll cry if you send me $50. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like that shit. And it's got like 2,000 followers, or like 2,000 people follow, or like watching it at the same time. It's like, how? Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, Merc. Thankfully, I still have the original map too. So I'm definitely excited to kind of give like a good back to back. The thing that was always baffling to me too is a lot of live stream service platforms bans people sleeping on stream. I don't know the full logistics on why it's fully banned, but then like half of these brain rot streams is just like somebody pretending to sleep or straight up sleeping. And it's just like, oh, you can wake me up by sending me $50 and it'll make like a fart noise over my bed. If you want to know a fun fact as well, half of those streams are pre-recorded and purposely has just a bunch of messages or a bunch of redemption stuff that goes on. And it's just to get you to be convinced that people are actually like spending money on that shit. Oh, man, I wish this didn't. What try is that? Is that... Ah, so it's big. Let me reverse this real quick. But yeah, it's definitely annoying. I think you'll see so many good like content creators just kind of get shafted for that. That also hits out there. I could try something. I don't think this is going to work in the slightest, but I'm just curious. So if I disconnected all these points, exited out of this, and then I give a shade. Nah, didn't work. I didn't think that was going to work, but it didn't hurt to try it. Oh, GoldenEye's music's so good. I prefer Perfect Dark music, honestly. But it's so good. I shit you not, those videos I worked on, those competitive GoldenEye videos, I'd say 50% of it was me not editing and just me instead just vibing to the music. I'd just be playing like the video back and forward and not like stopping to have stuff edited. I'd just be like, it's like, fuck, I don't want to like stop listening to the song. Yeah, agreed. I love Perfect Dark's music more, but some of the GoldenEye music is definitely in like my top 10. I think with Perfect Dark, the thing that works out for Perfect Dark more for me is just the fact they were able to not have to be stuck with a theme, because they were kind of stuck just making every song kind of sound like a GoldenEye or like a 007 like twangy theme that has a bit of the main theme into it, where Perfect Dark they were able to be a lot more lenient on it, just due to the fact they didn't have to deal with licensing stuff. But yeah, like these songs, oh my god, they're so good. Funny enough, I think one of my favorite songs, like I got Runway, the Surface songs, um, Cradle, uh, the unused jungle theme, Jungle Parameter, and oh, there's one other song. I think it's Citadel. I think the multiplayer map song Citadel. Um, they're my favorites. But funny enough, one of my favorites is the the elevator music. I love the elevator music in that game so much. Let me try and hit these with some decent coloring. If the sun's coming this way, you're not really going to be able to have it shine on this wall. And tail makes it under here as well. Most obscure game. Oh, I've got a lot of them. Well, I've got multiple plug-and-play consoles. I don't even know. That's a good question. I could probably do a quick glance of my tier list to see. I have them all. I have them all saved there. Because obviously you're gonna have like indie games and stuff like that. I'd actually probably, funny enough, say let's be on a console. Gun Club, that's a really obscure game. Runark, interesting. Let's see if I could think of anything for each console. I've got a ton of games, but when it comes to games I've actually played a lot of that's obscure, is definitely a bit rough. Field Runners, probably. That's a very obscure tower defense game. Duck Hunt, that's very obscure, right? Probably the Beethoven SNES game. It was one of the first games I ever played. There's another game I think I'm missing in here too. It's this weird fucking clown game. I don't think I actually have it on here. I need to add it. For the N64, I don't even know what I'd say for the N64. Probably Armorines. Armorines are like Ogre Battle. For console, would probably be World Championship Poker. But yeah, I'd probably say those games. They would definitely be. One of the best games ever made, for sure. Let me see if I can get a good coloring under here. Ooh, that's a little awkward looking up there. Maybe I can get... Yeah, that kind of works. Yeah, it's certainly a really bizarre game. That is a game that I owned. Man, that game's frame rate is fucking atrocious. Holy shit. I was playing through it as a joke the other month. I was testing out my capture card, and I was like, oh fuck. I think my capture card's actually kind of giving me the shits. Like, I feel like I've got like massive input lag. And it's like, oh, that's a shame because like this capture card's really good. I don't know what's up. I put on GoldenEye. I tested GoldenEye next. There was no input lag. It was just Armorines. Armorines just has a permanent input lag to it for some reason. It's like, why? So I don't think this needs to be that bright. One thing I will say about Armorines is I thought its cheat codes were pretty cool. Kind of similar to GoldenEye. They even have some of the cheat codes that GoldenEye cut out, like the line mode. And then you can also input cheats that let you bypass levels. It's impressive that they managed to make you use every single button on the N64 controller. Doesn't fully work out, but it's still impressive. At this point, maybe I should add some more red down here. Have it tinted a bit. There we go. Make it a little higher up. That gets the more yellowish from the sun. Yeah, pretty much. Let me work on this a little bit more. So the sun's shining in this way. It really wouldn't have this much grime on a spot like this. Let me just give this like a full untinting. I could probably leave some at the top, but having any more in this segment is probably not a good idea. Let me add tint back. And then I can give it a little bit of green as a treat. Like right here. Just enough to give that little bit of grime to it. Alright, the good old like shit the pants kind of texture. Oops. It's also good to get these little corners shaded in too. That way you can see where the corner ends and begins here. Interesting. Ooh, got some driver music. There we go. I can hit some pretty hard shading on this segment too. Especially now that I don't have this tied to other tries anymore. I'd come in, get that. Oh yeah, 100%. I come into here too and hit this little segment here. Ooh, maybe not. I may be able to. What's this connected to? Okay, it all connects down this way. I may not be able to. Yeah, that may be a little bit too awkward for me to hit there. Oh yeah, absolutely, Crow. It's always good talking to you. Hope you have a good rest of your day. What I could do to counter this out is I could actually hit a little bit of light over here. And just kind of let this flow into that being darker. But at the same time, this just doesn't really look that good. I think I'll hit it with having it go back to a more brighter color. And honestly, I'm seeing all of this, so Control A, disconnect points, there we go. I'm not gonna worry about that issue anymore. I'm gonna worry about it darkening in some of these segments, but now I can at least custom shade in. Ooh, some Pokemon Black and White. The DS and Game Boy Advanced era had some amazing music. Holy hell. And it's still I think one of the strong points in Pokemon games to this day is their music. It's always impressive. Oh, that's so much easier to shade now. Tint on this, just make it a little bit lighter, because it's not like it's fully indoors or anything. Yeah, look at that. That's so much nicer to shade now. Oh, man. Very happy on that. Now, start tackling this one. This is going to be a darker one to an extent. Farther down, you don't really get too much lighting on this. So this segment can be a little darker. And then as it goes up, it gets a bit lighter. Yeah, look at that. That's so much cleaner than what it was. Because it kept just going out in a line like that. I forgot I have F-Zero GX music in here. I was like, wait a minute. I still want to get a little bit of shading up on here as well. Because a little shading is better than having nothing. So that's going to kind of be what I should treat my base here. Once again, getting the little corners shaded in. Give a little bit more shading on these specific corners. And then I'll start lighting this side up. Oops, that's not light. Start lighting that side up a little bit. And then I could definitely give it a little bit of like a crusty green and tan to it as well. If I was to hit it kind of a little bit like this. And then I could start working backwards to give it a little bit more shading. There we go. And then I could hit it with a darkened version of this tan. One thing Rec did request was not to have a little bit like an overbearing thing of tan. But I do think having a little bit of tan does help pop out some maps a bit. They'll get a little bit, and then the rest of this will kind of get like a more darker shade in. I could even hit like a little bit of tan here. My idea for having it have the tan is one, dust, rust, like grime, brick dust, and then this green is kind of just like mold, mildew, moss, you name it. Something to give it a little bit more flair to just existing. Make the courtyards really look like they've been worn down. Also give this a little bit of shading. I could actually make it a little funky up here. Like it's just got a little bit of runoff going on. Especially since you won't really be seeing light on that side compared to this side, and then I can give this a little bit of a lighting, like a little light touch up, and then I can give a little bit of a light touch down on here, preferably not that way. You notice as well, got another issue. Ooh, good song. Specifically, these two textures, I believe, are connected. Yep. So, if I just come in here, open UVs, Control A, disconnect. I don't gotta worry about that now. There we go. Give it a little bit more of that crust. That's looking way better than what it was. It definitely could probably use a little less of the green, but I can come back later. It gives me... I like to bounce off these models with each other. So I'll work on one, see how it looks to influence the next item next to it, and then kind of bounce back and forth. But if I had to leave that with no alteration, I'd be fine with that. But it will probably get changed along the road. I'm scared to touch these UVs. One thing that was requested, as I mentioned earlier, is to get the grass changed a little. What I could do is I could have the grass kind of fold in a little on these corners. So, like, let's say right here, and then I come in probably like this. Open UVs. So that's a little bit of a better example. If I look that way, it would affect it this way. So what I can do, preferably not that. Hit Control A and could reconnect all these points. There we go. Brought it a bit like that, and then I followed this up by bringing it down here. It could look a little better. Yeah, it's kind of a decent start. If not, I can always rearrange the UVs as well. And I can make a separate save for this. And it doesn't have to be all of them changed up. It can just be specifically just a few things. Get this out of the way. I can see what I'm working with. This specific spot's going to be a little tricky. Maybe over here? I get over here. I rolled the fair. I rolled the banana roulette the first thing to test out my overlay, and I got the fucking golden banana first try. I was like, what? Like, why is it always, it's never this damn thing whenever I'm actually like mid live stream. It's always this damn like single banana. How's that look? That actually doesn't look too bad. It's just a little scrunched in just to give it a little bit of a different pattern. Not alright. Like, oh my god. Like the dancing frog when no one's looking. It's like, I swear to god I have more things on this roulette table. I think it's a decent start. I'll leave the grass for now. It could be worth me rotating some of the grass too. I like these walls a little better. Turn tint back on. There we go. That's looking alright. It's just wild how much the full bright stands out compared to the shaded in stuff now. One thing I do want to work on way later on is having this grass actually reflect up into the bricks to give it a little bit of green. But that'll be later on once I get the actual bricks colored in fully. May start working on these bottom half now. Bottom half would definitely be a little darker than the top, just due to how the lighting would come in. Let's see what I got up here. So it's slightly darker, and then I'll start giving it a cooler tone as well, to match with the brick specifically. So if I was to come in and hit it with preferably not that. Something like this to give it that better coloring. Been doing that with my map, but using a blender like baking. Yeah, I know that could definitely be a bit of a pain. You can actually have stuff shaded in as well if you are doing reflective lighting. Let me see if I can actually test that here. Let me light this whole thing up. Ooh, another GoldenEye song. So if I was to swap the mode towards light sources. that alright? Hmm. I didn't expect to accidentally uh put a nuclear bomb in my map. Holy shit. Let me just do something simple. That's cool that you can actually add in a light source to work with. Interesting. I think giving a bit of a blue hint to this definitely will be useful. That I should retroactively fit into the other areas as well. They kind of look a little dry. Obviously not this dark, so I can give it honestly, yeah, that's a pretty solid one. I think I'll just hit this with a full bright or full tint. Give this all nice tinting. And then I can retroactively add coloring to it. That was one of the really big things I liked about Rareware games is the fact that they had so much Verti shading and shadow effects in their games. They weren't the only ones to do it, but they were always like the top tier. They always knew how to get it to look really nice. This is a bit too dark, so I'm going to hit this tint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to darken this all. I'm going to give it little touches of light. It's just like, you got Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye. Even the games they don't do it as much in, they still... It's like still very impressive on how well they do it. Yeah, for sure. And then there's some games on the console that just has no shading whatsoever. It's just like everything's kind of like a full bright. This room is primarily going to be the one that's hit with the least amount of light, so it can be darker in here, but not too dark. Another GPG map. Ooh, okay. There's a map that Rec requested I work on called Coliseum. I think that map is going to have such a massive glow up with lighting because that map is just essentially grayscale. It's completely grayscale. Ooh, speaking of some of my favorite songs, I love these elevator songs. Not gonna have it this dark. But yeah, the map Coliseum definitely is going to have a very big glow up. Even if it just gets some coloring in it, it'll be way more than what it originally has. Darken that in. There we go. Now, it looks like it's got light in this room. And then I could also hit... Oops. Wrong way. I could hit coloring this way. Lighten that up a little more. There we go. Yeah, I wasn't really familiar with it as well until Wreckage showed me. It's essentially it's a really cool little level. It's think of like an actual gladiator arena, like a little coliseum. It's got a big centerpiece, and then there is like 4 walkways available that you can go around. The problem with it is it's just fully missing any sort of colored in textures whatsoever. It's all grayscale. Whereas this map can be like very passable without the text or without the shading. It still has like colored in textures. What the hell song was that? Well, Edsy theme again. I didn't expect to just get the multiplayer death twang. Yeah, same here. They're fun having a central hub. Yeah, I guess the beta version of the death twang was in here. That death twang actually ended up getting repurposed in Rex GoldenEye X mod. Ceiling can't be seen at all, so ceiling can be darkened. How dark are these? I can make it a little brighter. Make back here a little darker. There we go. There we go. Oh, for sure. Oops, did not mean to do that. So, sun comes in this way. Brighten this up. Oh, not that bright though. There we go. the surface levels have always been some of my favorites in GoldenEye. Even prior to me like meeting Adzi, it was always one of my favorites. Ooh, that's connected. That does not look good. Let me fix that up. Alright, so looks like this is connected to each other. Disconnect. There we go. Now it's nice and reset there. It's this wall quite nicely. Comes to this corner, not so much. I'll lighten this floor up a bit too, but I just want to get it dark so I can this. There we go. Also, after this room, I may start wrapping this stream up. I just kind of wanted to do a small one the day of the editor. I want to slowly, like, piece this out. Probably, like, around the 2-hour mark is a nice cutoff. Hop over to this. Darken this down a bit. Ooh, some perfect dark music. Wondering when we hear more from them. I wish they would put more of the official released music on streaming platforms. They have this song on Spotify, but if I recall, it's like the only Perfect Dark song on Spotify. Unless you want to count like remixed music. Yeah, it's interesting because what they did essentially is for Rare's anniversary a few years ago is they put a little bit of each game's music on Spotify and other streaming platforms. But it's like this Perfect Dark only has like one song on there. Blast Core's only got one song on there. But then it's weird because some other titles have like four songs on there. It's like, damn. Ooh, that actually kind of looks. Ooh, that blue tint actually kind of looks pretty decent. We will retroactively fit that on here. But yeah, not sure why they only decided some songs get added in, but I don't know. Hopefully one day they just add more in. That's all I ask for. And then you got Grant Kirkhope's songs as well that he has personally remastered. I'm a little hit or miss on them. I think it's really cool that he does it. I genuinely think they are amazing pieces of work. But for me, I'm very picky on my remixed or remastered music. And some of them are definitely hit or miss personally for me. I think they're all fantastic remasters, but some just don't fit my style. The one I didn't care for the most is DK64's DK Rap. Got a really funky remaster to it. It uses different artists and stuff like that, so it doesn't have the original like vibe. But that being said, I am glad that we do have somebody like Grant who cares a lot about his music and stuff because it's so good. And like you can clearly tell he's having fun with it. Honestly. Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I want to try something real quick. I want to give this a yellow tint to it. Maybe a little bit more powerful of a yellow. I think these could use an accent color. I don't think this like Shrek colored result is it, but I like the idea. Ooh, more Pokemon. If I can get it similar colored to the ceiling in here, I think that would be perfect. Honestly, it would probably need a little bit more orange. Hey, welcome back, Mark. Let me try to get this. Because then it kind of goes back to this kind of coloring, and that's not what I'm looking for. Like, that's a little too orange. Lurky the lurky. Ah, it's more green. That's not gonna work. Red? Yeah, red kind of works, almost. I can see it. I can see having the red working out. I've learned my mistake here. Oop. There we go. I think that's a good start to it. It gives it a little bit more of an accent on, instead of it just going from like directly blue to directly red. I want to get all these done now before the color picker resets. That's one very annoying thing in the GoldenEye editor, is the color picker resets its colors on reset. Anything that you save is just gone. Sometimes it'll save. I shit you not, 99% of the time it just doesn't. This could even include like these little segments too. See that easily. Not that whole wall. Something like that. Something that you wouldn't think of actually seeing. Oh my god. Something you wouldn't think of actually seeing unless you're like in gameplay and you go, oh shit. Hey, it's my intro music. Oh, that's cool to see it pop out. It's cool that there was insight in making these areas feel thicker than just being like paper thin. I can go do the same up here. I would have missed out on that if I didn't see it over there. So let's see what else I can do. And the floors I can just leave being the same coloration as the floor. I don't think these in here really matter that much, because they're going from blue tile to blue tile. I think they honestly should be good. But when it comes to going from red tile to blue tile, then it can have these little, like, accents to them. Big window is done. These little windows are done. Not the bottom floor, though. I ended up adding a bunch more tracks to my little playlist as well. It only had about, I think, like 25 songs to it. And I shit you not, like half of them was just Donkey Kong 64 and GoldenEye. I was like, let me give a little bit more life to my playlist. That's looking good. Looking good. Alright, hell yeah. Also, I'm curious. I don't think I'd have it that color, but that is good to know what it would look like. It's so good. I love Donkey Kong 64's music so much. It's just sometimes I'll just put that on my little radio and play that in the house while I'm doing like other stuff. I actually do have HD remasters of Jet Force Gemini. I could add them too. I forgot about that. I've got a handful of Rareware titles. I've got like Donkey Kong Country 2, DK64, Jet Force Gemini, Banjo-Kazooie 1. I guess it would just be Banjo-Kazooie. What else do I have? I've got a few other games as well. I can't remember but they're actual like one-to-one remasters of the original songs. They're so cool. And they're so high quality too. Holy shit. Just sending like one of those songs is like 60 to 100 megabytes in size. Like, Jesus Christ. Honestly, yeah, this blue looks so much more lifelike. So let me try and add some shading in here as I wrap things up. Let me start screenshotting these values too. That's honestly something I should have been doing. That way I can just type the colorations back in. Let's see. Oh, this song's also fantastic. So many good tracks. It's weird at times hearing these songs though, because it's like you don't get that kind of grungy low resolution um what would you call it, like buzz to the midis. These are like completely like the original MIDI um conversion on like actual HD versions of them, that they're not compressed at all. See, that room's a little too bright. I don't know why it's so bright. Let me fix that. But you can kind of see how lifelike the blue really makes some of these rooms stand out. I'll see what Rec thinks on it too. I won't go fully into all of them just in case it is something he doesn't prefer. But I think it probably would be something he'd like. Let me import this over. Right ROM. Version 6. There we go. Right, cool. That's all set up. There we go. And then yeah, it's wild how much more alive this looks. Let me try to pull up a photo. Here's what it started off earlier. That's what it started off before this stream. This is what it originally looked like. And this is it now. Holy shit. I'll go from that. And get a good angle for this. Yeah, that's so much cleaner. I'm glad I figured out that red looks really nice. The warmth of the red and the yellowish from like the sun rays really helps bring out the level a bit more. I'd probably honestly change this to be a little bit more red, but I'm really happy with how that's looking so far. It's like even here you can see like there's just the default stairs, no coloring added to it, versus like the ones that has been edited. Wild what some shading can do. Oh, thank you, Adzi. Good seeing you today. But yeah, that's wild. Just looks like dry. Ooh, hell yeah. You got any plans? And that's the end of last streams. Oh no, this wasn't. This is when I added the grass in. So you went from that to that. This looks so good. Eat food and watch the stream. Maybe I could push a little longer then. I'll go to like 3 hours or something. But yeah, currently I got the brick all red, so the red looks really nice. I started dabbling in. Oh, that sounds good. I got some of blue added into it as well. Tackled the bottom stairs. I think I'm gonna retroactively fit that blue up here, because like this kind of just looks dry. So I'm gonna go retroactively put the blue back into these areas. Put the blue in here as well. I personally want to change this stairway texture. Not really a fan of how it looks. It's train texture. But it just doesn't. Oh my god, speaking of GoldenEye. It doesn't really fit the level, I don't think. So I think this texture I would personally swap out. I still like this room being very dingy. I think it fits. Oh, I still got this room. Funny enough, the first segment I worked on, and it'll probably be the last room I work on, funny enough. Let me touch up a little bit more of this paint. Open this back up. Yeah, it just needs something to that stairway. Nope. Let go. There we go. Sometimes the editor will just not let go of your cursor. Just hit the back with this. There we go. And then these can do with a little bit more of like brighter lighting. The further back into, so I could hit it with like a little bit there, a little bit here. So it looks a little brighter on those segments, and then this way I can just make it darker blue. Two runways in a row. What? Get some Ratchet and Clank in here. I swear this media player will have it random, and then just out of nowhere, it's just like, no, we're just gonna go back to not random. So now I have that. Darken this down. That looks kind of clean. That way it still retains its lighting and its shading without having to be like too over the top. All this. Good set of shade. Oop, not up there. There we go. The fun thing about all this is just finding out what works and what doesn't work. There's going to be things that you think is going to work absolutely fine and there's going to be no problems and it just doesn't look the way you want it. And then sometimes you can accidentally do something and be like, oh shit, like that adds like a whole new layer of depth to it. But that's a half the fun in like painting as well. Things that you think would never work out on like a canvas ends up being like perfect for what you need. Make these flooring tiles just a little darker as well, since they've got a hint of blue in them now. That's good, that's good. Give it a smidgen of... Give it a little tiny piece of, let's say like 10. Maybe this kind of like tealish look. Let me see how this looks. Almost to give it a little bit of a look of wear and tear. Like it's aged. Maybe not. It does kind of look good for the sun lighting in. I'll probably keep it in for that. And I don't gotta worry about them because they're lower. Let me screenshot this coloring. There we go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let me go back and retroactively fit this room with that blue as well. There's Adzy's theme. Even if I have to completely reshade this area, I think this is fine. If anything, I could leave this corner kind of dilapidated looking. Yeah, leave that corner a little dilapidated, because that leads into this room. Then stuff like up here gets actually updated. As long as it doesn't affect down there, it should be good. Yeah, that's looking pretty alright. And then I could hit it with some darker tones here. Start doing the actual tinting. There we go. And down here it can get way darker as well. Have the ceiling get darker than the actual flooring side. There we go. That already looks a lot better. Even without any sort of final touches, that still looks really nice. I can kind of hit... This has some funky connection to it. So what is that hitting? So it hits that, hits that, hits that. Okay. Nah, that's not good. Reset that. Good to know that these two are connected. UV editor, all, disconnect. There we go. And I can make these a little lighter down here. This is definitely one of my favorite songs from Smash 64's renditions. There's so many bangers in that game, but man, the Brinstar one just so good. Ooh, some Doom. I don't think I've had any Doom play tonight. That seems a little funky. I think there's some more UV shenanigans going on here. Yep, sure is. Open UVs. Disconnect. There we go. Problem solved. And honestly, this can be a little light because there's going to be a light source here. So I'm fine with that kind of staying to that extent. Come into here though and darken this up. Fix that coloring. Oh my god, we're getting every form of surface. All right. gave Adzi the aux cord. Yeah, this blue looks so much more lifelike, or like full of life. Like, this is fine. This doesn't look bad at all, but with the extra color added in, it just makes it stand out way more. Really highlights the blue brick. To get a good photo of this. There we go. Merc the Lurk. Welcome back to Lurk the Merc. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad I ended up going more with that blue. Like, look at that. That blue makes it look so much more lifelike. Check this out. Here it is from the last stream where I just did some shading. Didn't really add too much color into here. It looked good, but it's just dry. It almost feels like, I don't know, like just a plant, like a dried plant almost. Like a plant that has just been sitting out in the sun and has just been dried up and fried. Where this looks like the plant when it was like alive. Like it just got a lot more vibrance to it, stands out more. I've also come in and I've given this little in-between. I've given it a reddish hue. That way it meshed with the blue texture to give off that tan look. And then just with the bricks themselves, that looks just so much more lifelike. Or full of life. With my map, when I get around to it, I'll cheat the lighting by throwing the map in a blender and enable shading. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I know, right? I wish. I found that you can generate a sun in here as well. And I fucking nuked it. I didn't know you could actually generate light sources inside here. Oh, I know, right? I wonder if something like that could definitely be added in the editor as well for Blender RAF. Maybe some way of having something simplified for it. Like for me today, I learned that I can just add a nuke to my map. Let me save this and then I'll show off the the light. Okay, it's time for nuclear light time. Light source. I was like, oh yeah, let me just try to like. I was like, let me mess around and see if I could like highlight one of these to have automatically. Ooh, the light source already isn't happy with me. So if I'm like, oh yeah, let me go up here and insert a sun. That's something that's actually really cool. Ooh, perfect dark music. A dark combat. For this specific sunlighting, I have not seen the tutorial for it. I wonder if I can. Oh, you can move it around. I wonder if there's a way for it to. Would it be the N64 vault? I think that may be the one. Oops. Rotate down. Oh, this is pretty cool. I wonder if there's a way for me to move this actually like upwards. And then you can do automatically bake lighting as well. So that would then just light up everything the way the current lighting currently is looking at. Oh, there it is. There's all this kind of stuff. I personally like just hand shading it in myself. But I have used some very basic baking in, automatic baking in the past. But the second numbers come into play, that's when my brain kind of melts a bit. Oh, that's kind of cool. Very subtle lighting. I'm not even gonna begin to guess where that lighting is coming from. But it is really cool just to have like extra options and stuff too. Maybe I'll try doing one of the suns or something for the Colosseum map. I'll do all the coloring myself, and then I'll do like baked light source to see how that looks, instead of doing it on like a predetermined map or like already like edited. Let me see if I can pull it up at all. Let's see here. So here is essentially the gist of it. It's just got like this little centerpiece Coliseum area, and then the whole little walk around, which is pretty cool. Rec did a very basic edit just to add light to it, just to see what it would look like with a different coloration. And then I'll be going in and I'll be giving it a lot more coloring and shading as well. But yeah, very, very nice simplistic map. I always welcome a nice simple map. Almost kind of gives me DK64 multiplayer vibes in a way, because that's how a lot of their maps are. Yeah, it's very small. You think it'd be bigger, but yeah, no, like stupidly small. The middle segment is definitely the biggest spot, but a very nice 1v1 map, I think. Ooh, that's a little funky looking. Let me go into here and change that a bit. Maybe worth me just going through and disconnecting this UV and then fixing it manually. How funky some of this grass tries are, I think that may be a separate project. The things I still want to do is I want to work on this more next time, fix up this specific lighting here. I'm happy with how this looks. It looks like the fountain has done dried up. It no longer gets any flowing water. I would love to change around this texture. Fix this up. Obviously do the last full bright areas. Work on these walls some more. And then obviously also work on these big floor tiles, these big ceilings. Just for the most part, they're still kind of full bright. But yeah, I think this had a hell of a lot of progress done today. Last stream was a good, like, fundamentals and understanding how the lighting and stuff worked in the textures, but for this one, it's just such a massive improvement. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm excited to see this thing fully finished, and there's still definitely going to be things I go back and work on. Like, I can see some stuff right here that I would definitely go back and touch up a bit. But they're at a state that I'm happy with how they look. Like, I would reduce this down by, like, the tiniest fraction of shade. Fix up that. Come in, fix up some of the stuff in here. I got more of this to work on, too. Like, on this side. I could, yeah. Yeah, I could do that. Let me import this in. Save this once more. Let me get 2 controllers ready real quick. I got both my 8-bit Doe N64 controllers right next to me waiting just for this very occasion. My knowledge, they should be fully charged. At the very least, they should be connecting. There we go. Let's see. Pick this up. Turn the music off real quick. Let me make sure. Oh shit. Actually, gotta change my plugin to be controller instead of mouse and keyboard. Controller NRage 2.2. There's a chance it may have just crashed on me. 1964 loves doing that, I swear. Input settings. Here we go. So this should be my first controller. This is my second controller. There we go. And then controller 1. There we go. Hopefully this doesn't blow my ears out. Alright, cool, perfect. it's temple, first to 10 points, control style. Yeah, I guess they're both being controlled. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't register input 1. Interesting. Obviously I do need to go back in and change the height of the map too. But this is good to kind of just view and look at how the map looks. So yeah, it's actually coming along really well. Yeah, that looks really good. Probably gonna have the lighting changed as well, so I have it look more, um, a little bit more bluish. But yeah, that's really solid. Nice having this glass too. Oh, this is a little trippy to control. So you'll be able to shoot that as well, which is really nice. Yeah, tiny huge island. Oh man. So what's going on here is I have it set the temple's stats, which didn't transfer over the height size. It's supposed to be obviously significantly bigger. Oh, look at that dead zone to 0 to 100. God damn. But yeah, that's actually really solid. Let me get a good angle for both of these. There we go. It kind of is, yeah. It's very grayish. I don't remember if that's what the original one is supposed to look like. I think Rex Mod has it different, if I recall. Um Also I should be able to just pop up Rex Mod real quick. So if I was to pause this. I don't think this is specifically his specific mod. Oh yeah, it is. I want to see if he has that oh, there's courtyard. I want to see if he has that Coliseum level in here as well. But yeah, that's what it looks like normally. That's so wild. I'll probably keep that skybox color. I do like that skybox color. But yeah, that's wild how different this looks now. pretty much. Damn. So I don't see the Coliseum level in here. Unless I'm missing something. So these are still levels from the actual game itself. Page 3 is Twine. Yeah, it's not fully on here. What he's currently doing right now is he is reworking the map as well to be more updated. So stuff like the ramps and stuff, they actually don't have shoot-throughs through them now. And fixing up some of the areas that are a little unfair to the other player, like spawns and stuff. But once he gets that finished is when I'll receive that map itself to start working on. Let me put away my controllers and stuff. That way I don't leave them sitting out. Yeah, this little project's been really cool. This is something I really enjoy working on in mods. Some mods I justified making by doing fun little like Vertex shading projects in them. So having a whole project that is nothing but Vertex shading is a lot of fun. Like painting a sculpture. But I do think I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to start getting my stuff ready for work tomorrow. I'll probably still be up, but I'm just going to start getting my work stuff ready and spend some time with my pets and stuff. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for watching as always. Especially appreciate like anyone who's watching the VODs and just general support. I always appreciate it. But I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Let me hit this one more time. Let me see what I get with the banana roulette. The same fucking single banana, damn it. Yeah, y'all take care. And bye-bye.